Right, history of social media. How many of you guys thought social media started like when MySpace came out? I mean, I know I did. I remember it was 2006, and I was a junior in high school at the end of my junior year, and everyone all year was saying, oh, you gotta get a MySpace, you gotta get a MySpace, and I was like, oh no, like that's where, you know, creepers get on there, and I don't want to get connected, I want no one to find me in Cache, Oklahoma, and so I was like against it. And at the end of the year, my girlfriend convinced me, and I feel like social media has just been a huge part of my life ever since. But little did I know that it didn't start with MySpace in 2006. And please don't worry, I'm not going to cover all of this information, but I thought it was important that you all know social media isn't something that just started a few years ago. Social media has been around for a long time. It might not be what it once was, but the concept has been around. And there are two areas that I want to point out on here, and that is Facebook and LinkedIn. Those are two names that I'm sure everyone has at least heard, and now they were developed in the early 2000s. So you over here, you have your Facebook and LinkedIn. I know it's very small, and I promise it looks better on my screen. But look at everything that came before it. I mean, I just think it's crazy that there was so much, and it started, you know, people did blogs and Zanga and things like that, and so I was fascinated when I did research to find, you know, what people were doing prior to Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus, where we are now. So I thought that was really interesting. Moving forward, staying on topic with what social media used to be and is today, let's talk about the evolution of social media. All right, so we're going to look at the decade of 2004 to 2014. Obviously, since we're in 2015, the most recent statistics I could pull were from 2014. But a few of the areas that I'm going to highlight on here over the last 10 years. Facebook was founded in 2004, and in just one decade, it has acquired almost half of the internet users worldwide. The last decade almost revolved around Facebook. Its public launch in 2006, it wasn't offered to everyone right at the beginning, and then, you know, it was to call your grinning, so, you know, it was college students first. You had to have a college email account. That was a huge deal because all of a sudden you had all these high schoolers trying to get their older siblings. Okay, you did it. You're laughing. So did you do that? To use their college email address to be able to get a link or to get a Facebook. But it surpassed MySpace in 2008. And introducing the like button in 2009, or becoming the first ever online network reaching 1 billion users in 2012. Photo sharing networks launched in 2010. It reached 300 million registered users in December of 2014. Twitter, a microblogging social network, was launched on May 6, 2006. The network claims to have 284 million monthly active users as of right now. Google Plus now has 359 million monthly active users. How many of you all use Google Plus in here? I know, I see I have a Gmail account, so I have Google Plus, but I really don't get on that much, and I feel a lot of people do, and that's an underutilized platform. Video sharing network YouTube is the only third network after Facebook and Google Plus that has more than 1 billion users now. The network records 100 hours of video uploads every minute. Obviously, we just watched a YouTube video, and I know when I was in my graduate program, at my class, my professors were implementing YouTube videos in our coursework, and we had to learn how to record them, and we would video our presentations and upload them so our classmates could watch them and then give us reviews, because they wanted us to be familiar with, you know, how to use YouTube, how to use videos, and that's where my master's is in higher education administration. So I think that shows the vast variety of where social media is being used. It's not just in public relations, marketing, advertising, but it can be used across the board, no matter what your business may be or where you're working, what you're involved in. All right, so moving forward, I'm big on actions speak louder than words, and I think in regards to social media, numbers speak louder than anything I might be able to say to you all up here today. Over the years, social media has evolved tremendously, and today affects us in more ways than one. The various networking sites have virtually taken over our lives today, and for a person like me who spends much time online, it's difficult for me to imagine that there was ever once existed a a life existed out there without social media before my MySpace. I could sit here all day long and tell you about how large social media is, but the proof's in the pudding. If you look at these numbers, even, LinkedIn, 32 million registered users. Is everyone in here on LinkedIn? LinkedIn accounts? What about Pinterest? 70 million users, of which 40 million are active users. And before doing my research, I really thought, like, my husband thinks Pinterest just for women. Like, I go on there to get my, my recipes and decorating ideas, or I drive him crazy with, whatever I found, whether it may be a hairstyle on Pinterest. But really, men are on there too. And it is a lot larger than I even thought. Google Plus, you can see that they have 359 million monthly active users and over 1 billion registered accounts. And then you can see Twitter up there as well. Moving forward, all right, so you've heard about social media, you're kind of skeptical. Maybe there are pros to social media. The networking sites allow you to be in constant touch with people on your friend list, or who you're connected with, your connections. One tweet, status, update, or pin is all you need to tell all your acquaintances about where you've been holidaying last week, or Jana Lee likes to let me know when she goes to Wayne's and Lawton and rub it in when I can't get a Dr. Pepper there. Or what is going on in your personal life, your professional achievements, setbacks, mood swings, your goals, and how your favorite football team is doing. The reach of these sites is awesome, and connectivity is instant. To top it, this instant connectivity comes virtually for no one or for everyone at no cost at all. Besides connecting to a cross-section of people, your friends, your family, your classmates. I know it's been good for me, not just in my professional career, but to stay in touch with my friends from Cache, Oklahoma, and my college friends and family in Fort Dodge, Iowa. And it's just a great way to not just stay connected also, but to learn what other people in your sector are doing, and so that way you can stay up to speed. And as I said earlier, a lot of people get their news from social media, and I don't know if that's always accurate. You might make sure it's from like the station. But with thriving online communities, Facebook pages and Twitter profiles for brands have helped businesses reach out to wider audiences. This has allowed social media savvy brands and businesses get connected to their real or existing customers on a more personal level. I was visiting with a gal 2 days ago. She's in my office, and she's from Amarillo, and she told me that she does social media for a car dealership in Amarillo, Texas. So it's not that big of a place. She said they've had folks come from California to buy cars there, like all over, and just from using their social media, because she is so efficient with the photos that they post, the messages that they put on there. And so I asked her, I was like, what are you posting? What are you doing? And I kid you not, the most recent photo she posted was a moth that they found at the dealership next to a ruler, and it was crazy. It was like several inches, and it was hilarious. But the thing had been shared over 1,000 times. She had the likes, and she said, oh yeah, we got 150 new likes on our Facebook page from this. I just posted on Instagram. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know if folks in Amarillo are that interested in the moths around there, but I think it shows you that the buzz social media can cause. It's incredible. And so, although there are pros to social media with everything, there are cons as well. As mentioned earlier, the manner in which we interact and the amount of time we have at our disposal has been seriously affected by the springing up of the sites. The fact that a multitude of users are active on more than one of these sites further cuts down our time to interact face-to-face. Social skills are decreasing because we no longer are required to have conversations with one another that don't involve typing. So I think that's not just hurting interpersonal relationships, but also interview processes and other skills that we kind of take for granted, or folks did, I'm sure, back in the day. But businesses are having to find ways to connect with their target audiences by communicating with them in their preferred communication platform of choice. And this is huge, because if you're wanting to reach a large demographic and you're used to, just going with traditional media, today so many folks are incorporating the non-traditional media. So if you're not familiar with it and you don't know how to target your specific audience on social media, it can be, it gives your competition the upper hand. And so, a con to social media is you have to stay on top of it and stay active and in the know. So, let's see those around. Pictures like these over Facebook itself are important reminders to the toll social media is taking on the interpersonal relationships. As pointed out by a 2-year-old write-up on Forbes, which is still relevant through the statistics, though those statistics might have changed. Every relevant metric shows that we are interacting at breakneck speed and frequency through social media. But are we really communicating? With 93% of our communication context stripped away, we are now attempting to forge relationships and make decisions based on phrases, abbreviations, snippets, emoticons are personally my favorite, I think they're hilarious, which may or may not be accurate representations of the truth. And that's important for us as we go back to looking at what we see on social media and what image we're portraying out there. We need to make sure as businesses, what we're posting on our pages, it's accurate information. It's not just to be funny. It's not because once it's on the web, it's on there forever. Even if you take it off your page, I'm sure someone out there can find it. Cosm's pretty tech savvy. He could probably figure out where to get it. So what does this mean for business owners? Many of our customers are relying on social media for their information too. And so being active, again, that's so important. And I just thought these were kind of funny. Can you all see that in the back where it says, my internet was down for 5 minutes, so I went downstairs and spoke to my family. They seem like nice people. All right. So benefits of social media marketing. I'm only going to touch on this, so how great that you guys have another section. I think it's going to be later in the fall they're going to do that one, so that'll be great. Okay, apart from promoting businesses, these highly active online communities make it possible for like-minded people to discuss topics of mutual interest with people from across 7 seas without knowing them personally. Someone who owns a pet turtle can bring up a query related to his pet's health on a Facebook group, Turtle Lovers, if one exists. So that just shows you anything that you want to talk about, you can find it out there. Without the man on the street realizing it, social media has today become an extension of e-commerce. Latest products, offers, deals, and discounts can be promoted to users across these channels with a single post, tweet, or pin, which explains why these networking sites gradually went on to introduce features like Facebook Buy, Pinterest, Rich Pins, Twitter, sponsored tweets. You all are seeing that more now, aren't you? Where you get on Facebook and all of a sudden you're going to scroll your news feed and then you have some stuff that just stays there in the middle. Well, they're paying for that, so don't get too frustrated with them. But it's exposure, and they know that. And if you look, the first one, we're not going to go through all of them, but 81% of folks who were surveyed said that using social media marketing generated exposure for their business, and then the 61% increased my traffic, subscribers opt-in list. And so, like I said, I think numbers speak for themselves. But and these statistics came from 2009. But obviously, Facebook and Twitter and other social media sites that are they're constantly growing. But even then, they had a large impact. Okay, so many different social media platforms to choose from. How do we understand them? So it's Friday, and I put together this presentation before you did your post. Cosme, I think you posted, maybe Jana Lee. Y'all have donuts here today, but so it's Friday, so we're gonna use donuts. Let's fill in a sweet mood, and I think it's an easy way if you use the same subject for every site that we're gonna visit with about today. So that way you can get an idea or grasp if there's some that you don't know much about. So, using the word donut, this is what would take place if it was on each of these platforms. Twitter, I'm eating a donut. It's short and sweet and simple. It's what you're doing now. If you were going to use a social media platform right now, you'd probably, Twitter would be the most convenient. You get your phone, send a tweet, I'm eating, hashtag donut, and then you could click on that and see who else was eating a donut right now. Facebook, status, what's on your mind. I like donuts. Foursquare, your location. This is where I eat donuts. The BBB. Instagram, here's a vintage photo of my donut. YouTube, here I am eating my donut. LinkedIn, my skills include donut eating. I don't know if you want to include that on your LinkedIn profile, but you never know.
Police officer.
Yeah. Pinterest, here's a donut recipe. Last FM, now listening to donuts. And I don't think you want to include you listening to donuts either on there, but, and then Google+. I'm a Google employee who eats donuts. All right, so obviously there are a lot of sites you can pick from, and you probably don't have all day long to spend updating every single site, especially when you want the best ROI for your time. So a lot of times it's not money, it's going to be the time that you invest. And so, and here in Wichita Falls, Facebook and Twitter are the most frequently used if you're in a room and you ask folks. And so today we're going to Facebook versus Twitter. Facebook statistics, 901 million monthly active users who use Facebook mobile products as of 2014. As I'm looking around, almost all of you already have your cell phone out, you have an iPad, so it's easy. I mean, they have the app. I think that's what helps the numbers, or what helped the numbers rise tremendously. 699 million daily active users on average in June 2014, and 1.32 billion monthly active users as of 2014. All right, Facebook lingo, your timeline, that's, your page. It once, was just your profile. You may also like to call it your profile. Is the public display of your information on Facebook. It includes your status updates, your pictures, and everything you've done on Facebook as others see them. Privacy settings allow you to set who can or can't see this information. So you can make it where your friends can see it, the public can see it, whatever you may be, whatever you choose. Your cover photo, that's at the top, is an image on the top of your timeline that is intended to be expressive of who you are. It's separate from your profile picture and can only be seen when someone is looking at your timeline. Your profile picture is the image that is intended to be the icon representing you visually, the face of your profile, so to speak. So your profile pictures in your top left-hand corner, and then you have your cover photo at the top. An example of this, I chose Starbucks. We're all pretty familiar with Starbucks. You have their logo, is their profile picture, and then their cover photo. They have coffee beans up there, so that doesn't necessarily have to be, your picture or I guess your headshot or whatever it may be. And so as you can tell, it goes in chronological order, and that's what your timeline looks like. If you had a Facebook, does anyone remember Facebooks before they had timelines? It was just like your page, and you couldn't really, if you wanted to see what someone did, and 2 years ago, you couldn't just go click on the year. You're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and I may have been guilty of doing that before, but. Creeper. No, I was trying to say, learned it from MySpace, right? I'm just kidding, I promise. Okay. Facebook lingo continued. A status update is a post on your timeline. So you can create a status update by typing in the box at the top and just what's on your mind. And just a little side note, just because something's on your mind, you don't always have to post it on Facebook. And if it's negative, you might, I always say, think before you tweet. And I just, because sometimes I feel like people might post something and then regret it instantly. And even if you try to delete it real quick, someone saw it, okay? And we're not going to talk about Snapchat today, so I'm not going to go there. Comments are responses to status updates, pictures, and so on. So someone posts something, you can comment on it. As a business, you can post something about your business, post a photo, post what's going on here today. Folks can comment on it, give you feedback, and you can respond to them. It's a way to generate conversation. Like is a way of showing you approve of a post. Click the like button. It looks like a thumbs up or on status updates, pictures, articles, videos, and even comments. And that's an easy way to show someone you read their post, you like it, you agree with it. It's a way to, stay active without having to generate the conversation. So, staying with Starbucks. They made a post. It was going to be $1 for a grande iced coffee. If this ever happens, please post it to my wall, okay? Can y'all share it with me, please? Because I don't know. Obviously, 13,925 folks did share it. They didn't share it with me. But you can see right here, people make comments under it. And then you can see people liked the comments, and then they replied under there. So that's how you generate conversation on Facebook. You make a post, someone responds, and you can have a lot of fun, and also you can help your folks know when you see a good deal, just share it to their wall. Moving forward, all right, Twitter. Twitter is short and sweet. So how many of you all are on Twitter? How many of you all use Facebook or Twitter as much as you use your Facebook? That seems to be the case in all rooms across the board. I'll be honest, I'm the same way. Facebook is the most popular around here, but it's important to be familiar with Twitter because in larger cities, it is very popular. It's very instrumental, and it's good to have a basis of it. Twitter, like I said, short and sweet. It's made up of 140 character messages, and those are called tweets. I probably don't care for Twitter as much because I'm long-winded and I like to have full sentences and I don't like to abbreviate and I like to have a lot of emoticons on there and get really excited about every post, and I feel like Twitter interrupts me and cuts me off, and I don't like that. So, but you can also include videos, I know, and photos. Twitter's real talk. So it's timely. You're not going to want to post tonight at the BBB listening to Teea ramble about social media. No, that's a little late. People aren't going to want to see that. But if you see something instantly, it's a great, a lot of people were talking about, my boss personally, when they were following the Boston Marathon. And he stayed up to date all day with what was going on by following his Twitter feed because it was so timely and quick when he was getting those updates. And so if you are in the office, you're busy, you're out and about, Twitter's a great way to stay on top. You know, you can follow CNN or whatever, Fox, whatever you want to. Tell Jordan not to plug Fox back there if you can. My husband works for Fox. Whichever one you prefer. So it's a great way to stay on top of information. Also, it's a great way to keep people informed of what you're doing, what your business is doing. Statistics. You guys can see. Okay, good. Total number of active registered Twitter users, 555 million. Yes. Number of new Twitter users signing, sorry, it's already the middle of the day. Every day, 135,000 folks are signing up on Twitter. Number of unique Twitter site visitors every month, 284 million. Average number of tweets per day, 500 million. And you can tweet all day long. I heard a statistic, well, the gal from Amarillo told me to be a successful social media user for a business. This is her philosophy, and it's worked. It's worked for her and her company. Facebook, as a business, posts once a day. On your Instagram, you post 3 to 5 times a day. And on Twitter, up to at least 7 times a day you stay active because those news feeds on Twitter, I mean, they fill up so fast. If you post something, someone might not see it the first time. You know, if you post something else, they might not see it. So you want to make sure that whatever you're putting out there, it's being seen. And so that's her philosophy. And then when it came to paid marketing in regards to social media, she said until she reaches 20,000 followers, she doesn't believe in paying for any advertising because that means she's not working hard enough on her end to get the message out there. And so I thought that was really impressive that that's something she stands by and is able to, you know, run a business off and pay, you know, and so I think that was pretty impressive. So remember that, a Facebook post, 3 to 5 Instagram, and 7 on Twitter. And if you run out of things, send me some ideas because I think it's a little hard to go with seven tweets. So let's talk about the lingo, tweet. The most basic component of Twitter. A tweet is a single message from a single user, kind of like a status update on Facebook, but a tweet can be no more than 140 characters long. We talked about that. It's short and sweet. Home feed. This is a list of all your tweets and those of people you follow. It's almost like your news feed. It's like your news feed on Facebook. You scroll through, see what's going on. You follow people that you want their information to pop up on your news, on your home feed. And followers. These are the people who've elected to follow you. You do have privacy options where you can choose that people have to get your permission to follow you, or that they can just follow you. So. Use Starbucks again. Here's their Twitter profile page, and you can see these are their tweets, and then over here it would show their followers, and then pictures they've posted. They've tweeted 10,620 times. They have over 77,000 folks following them, and they're following over 77,000 folks, and they have over 2 million followers. So Starbucks knows what they're doing. Okay, a little more about Twitter lingo. Okay, so you've all seen the @ name. This is a person's username, or it won't say name. It'll be what you refer to as someone's handle, and that's a unique identifier which references them. I promise I'm not trying to increase my Twitter followers today, but I want to give you something realistic to look at. My handle is just @Teea Reed. It's something simple people can search for if they're looking for me. You know, sometimes people, you know, they get creative. You can put whatever it may be. Union Square is @Union Square CU. Union Square Credit Union. Hashtag. Someone, a lady recently told me that she's like, that is not a hashtag, that is a pound sign or a number symbol. And so hashtag, number sign, symbol, pound, whatever you want to call it. This is a way of indexing or categorizing your tweet to make it more searchable, like we talked about donuts. Hashtag donut, you can click on that and see who else is talking about donuts that day, just to kind of follow. It's a good way to follow trends, what's going on, whatever topic you're following, like, you know, the bombs in Boston, whether it be the storms, whatever it may be. It's an easy way to see what other folks are saying about it. Okay, you can retweet what someone says. It's a function on Twitter. So if someone posts something, you don't always have to come up with it. You see something funny, you see something you like, you see something newsworthy. You have the option to retweet. Mention is where another user includes your username in their tweet. So it could be simple like, I had a great day with @Teea. Or it could be an attribution, which is generally something like, I came across this great link today via @Teea. So it's a great way to give credit if someone else posts something or finds something, and because no one wants to get on and see your Twitter profile with just like everything they posted, but they're looking like super awesome and down with everything that's going on. Really, they've just been following yours. And that wouldn't be ethical, and that wouldn't be the BBB way, okay? Don't do that. All right.
I don't know about that.
Social media best practices. Okay, number 1, follow back and interact. If you have a healthy number of social media followers and you're only following a handful back, this doesn't mean you're cool. Like, don't think like that's how you're going to gauge if you're successful on social media. I know people, you hear people all the time, well, my husband he thinks this is so funny. He's like, I got to keep that ratio up. I've got, and he's like, it's like on his Instagram, and he'll have like 100 followers, and I'm only following like 40-something people, and I'm like, well, don't you want to look at stuff on there? No, it's that ratio for him. He cracks me up. He gives himself cool points for that. But if you have a healthy number of social media followers and you're only following, like I said, handful back, that tells everyone that you're not interested in their community, what your community has to say. Follow back and interact. That will help you grow your overall following and create goodwill within your community. Plus, when you follow back, you might get some public thanks, which will give you an opportunity to chat with your community members, learn more about their interests, and deliver on their needs. Your business, you're wanting to know how people feel about your company. You want to get your name out there more. The more folks you follow, they're going to be able to tag you in their posts. I mean, just getting your name out, people see that someone else is following you. I mean, social media pressure happens all the time. They want to follow you too and see what's going on. Keep the social and social media. It sounds like it would be obvious, yet many brands using social media don't actually get social with their followers. Should you engage with your brand's influencers? Yes. Should you engage with your customers? Absolutely. Should you engage with everyone who reaches out to you? Indeed, with a few expectations, like avoiding the spammers. Someone seems a little creepy, you might not respond, not encourage it. But social media is about relationships, and that's what it is when you have a business. You're building the relationships. He told me he went to Cash yesterday, right? And he was with my old superintendent from when I was in high school, and he built a relationship with him, and that's what they're going to remember. And if you respond to someone's post, and whether it be personally or with your business, someone's going to remember that. Whether you had a complaint, a comment, a question, just a thank you, they remember that. Not everyone you connect with has to be like-minded. Diversity breeds inspiration. Keep that in mind. Look outside, get outside your comfort zone and expand your horizons. Number 3, determine your voice and tone. Is your voice very, very corporate, or is it a little bit more casual? On your business page, you might want to be a little more professional. If it's your personal page, it's probably, okay to not, have your complete sentences, whatever it may be. What you're sharing says as much about you as it does your audience. Is your audience representative of your brand? If it is, then is it representative of of your demographic you're trying to reach? If your tone and voice aren't appealing to your prospects, then it's time to change it up. So, Union Square is a credit union. If I'm not talking about what's going on in the financial industry, and if I never talk about what Union Square is doing, if I'm never posting photos of what we've got going on in the community, and I'm always just talking about eating donuts, what I'm doing personally, just hanging out, no one's going to want to follow Union Square on Twitter, on Facebook, whatever it may be, because I'm not giving them any useful information, nothing that's pertinent to them. And so I need to remember that. And as a financial institution, it might be a little more serious than my girlfriend Melissa Prigmore, who owns the Tumble Bus. Obviously, she's going to direct all of hers about children's safety, birthday parties, things like that. So determine your voice and tone. Keep it short. According to Strategies for Effective Tweeting, a statistical review, tweets containing less than 100 characters, probably why I'm not that good on Twitter, receive 17% higher engagement than longer tweets. While Twitter limits your messages with its 140 character limit, Facebook, Google+, and other networks don't impose a character limit. Sometimes, though, the shorter is better. I mean, what did it say? We have 7 to 8 seconds, someone's time span, so we want to make sure that we write something that catches their attention and they get it. Create brand awareness. Social media platforms offer the potential to increase your public profile, give the ability to create grassroots campaigns, engage with influencers in your industry, share content from them, and stay active in conversations. If you create and share worthwhile content, you'll be ready for the time when industry influencers send a flood of new followers your way. And I think it's important for people to get to know who you are on social media. Right now we're about to kick off a campaign at the credit union where we're going to highlight different departments every month, and have a person from each department, from that department every day, and have their headshot on there, and they filled out a survey bio for me, and it's not just like Teea Reed, my title, no, it's more about an interesting fact about Teea, and this is what Teea can do anything in the world. She wants to go to space and walk on the moon and things like that, so you can get to know each other. We want not just our community to get to know us, but I really want our employees to get to know each other better, not just on that level of, hey, here's this next step in the process, I'm giving you this. And it just really makes a difference when, again, you build the relationship. Don't overshare. Sometimes being able to publish every whim that scans across your brain is the best thing in the world. Sometimes it can become a real problem. So, let's say you're in your own business. Well, you go to a restaurant and your food's cold, or something is wrong. Well, you just don't want to instantly, I see this all the time, people get on there and they're going to vent about it. I see a lot more times people vent than they give people praise on there. Generally, that's how it works, I guess. But, well, what if all of a sudden now they're looking for some contract work and you want to apply for that? Well, and they saw that you posted about them on social media and told everybody not to go there, or don't waste your money or your time. People forget about that. And I worked for a PR firm in Oklahoma City before we moved to Wichita Falls, and that was one thing that we had to be very, very careful of, not to be posting about anything. I remember a girl got her nails done because anyone was a potential client for a PR firm, and so that's really important to just keep that in the back of your mind. Don't overshare. Also, don't always feel compelled to jump in. Much like oversharing, you don't have to be a part of every conversation mentioned in your company. In fact, sometimes it's better to let other folks comment, and then you can make comments on that, because you don't want to just be the only voice out there, because we know that we generally are going to listen to our peers more so than we are the owner of a company, because by golly, they're going to say it's the best company ever. And you want people to be able to interact and communicate, and then you can jump in and be a part of that conversation, but don't try to always just be the only one leading it. Be as transparent as possible. That's important. Openness goes a long way in social media. So, like I said, creating videos or creating employee profiles with links to connect, that's important. If you put that in your signature on your email, that's something that we've incorporated, where you can go to Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, because you might, just the more transparent a business is, the more comfortable someone is going to feel when they want to go into your company, or they're looking for a company to use, or, with like our mortgage team. It's very competitive when you're trying to, recruit new home buyers, and so, well, what better way to do that than let people get to know us, trust us. Our mantra, if you will, is more like family, and so we want people to feel like they are part of our family, that they're comfortable with us, they know us. It's not just the loan officer, but that's Chris A. Day, and he does this, and it's just really important. Be proactive versus reactive. Monitor general feeds in your industry, like we said earlier, to pick up a variety of posts that don't mention your brand but are still valuable. I follow several other credit unions, even banks, financial institution websites, newsfeeds, everything you can think of, because I want to know what other folks are doing. How do we compare to them? Because for us to be able to stay on top of what's going on, I need to know what's going on other places as well, not just even in Wichita Falls, because we could bring something new into our product portfolio, or we noticed that no one in town had student accounts, and so I was seeing some pop up at other places, so did a lot of research, and we were able to produce, be the first folks in town to offer student accounts now, and we had a whole campaign around that. But if I didn't know what other financial institutions were doing across the nation, then, well, we wouldn't, what would I know, where would I start? And so that's an easy way, because it's free, and I don't even have to get on and, I don't even have to call them to ask for information. If they post it up there, I can just go on and look. Number 10, respond to negative and positive feedback. This is important. If you receive negative feedback, consider looking at it as constructive criticism and an opportunity to improve. If someone is complaining, it's more than likely they're looking for a resolution from you. Very rarely do people merely want to complain. Therefore, respond as quickly as possible and avoid the urge to purge. Because we know that it's just so easy to just be like, oh, I just want to ignore that. But just think how you're going to make that person feel. You're going to impact them. They're going to want to tell someone how you took care of it. I saw a lady got on Facebook, I think it's closer to the holidays, and she needed a prescription filled, and she went to one of the pharmacies, and they ended up closing before calling her to tell her to pick up her prescription. So she got on Facebook, and she just let Wishaw Falls know, they left me without my prescription, and I've got a sinus infection or something like that. And well, the owner of the company or someone who worked there saw it, and they went in there and they got her prescription to her. And they let her know, they opened, they let her in to get her prescription. Well, she then got on Facebook and let them know, let the community, everyone who's following her know. And see, I saw all this and I was creeping on my newsfeed, checking it out. But, like how awesome that company was. Like, they didn't mean to do that. They didn't mean to close their doors and leave her with this sinus infection or whatever that she was sick with. It just kind of slipped through the cracks, but they took care of it. She let them know, they responded, not saying to put your complaints out there all the time, but the fact that they responded that way, it made me have so much respect for them. And I believe that several other folks who probably saw that post really respected that as well.
Can I make a comment about the negative?
Yes, please.
One thing we do see some of that, when you get negative feedback on, doesn't matter if it's Facebook or wherever, it is important that you respond to that, but I think we would encourage you to take the conversation off of that platform to either an email or call them, to really find out what the issue is, because whatever they post may just be the tip of the iceberg, or but don't respond to them. That just fuels the fire if you respond on Facebook to a negative post.
That's a great input, because at the credit union, not to say we get a ton of negative feedback, but people will put a review on there for one or something, and I'll see it, and it'll be something like, I used the ATM machine and got charged a fee, or something like that, or just anything, it doesn't matter if maybe. So what I always try to do is if I see that, I'll go ask the FSR supervisor or financial service representative supervisor, and say, do you know who helped this person? I try to get the story before I comment too, because I don't want to just not have a response. You never not want to have a response and say, well, I'll get back to you, because then everyone's like, yeah, sure you will, okay? So figure out kind of what happened, and then I always send up either a personal message, because if I can't get them over the phone, I have realized that maybe social media is their form of communication they want to use. Send them a private message on behalf of the credit union, letting them know, we're working on handling this. Would you like to come in? Can I get you in touch with the right person? And I tell you, people appreciate that, and most of the time it is just a misunderstanding, and it can be fixed. But as you said, you don't want to write back on there, oh, whatever, you don't know what you're talking about. If you could use the ATM machine, no, you can't do that. Because then we're like, they are crazy. Who is operating their Facebook page? And also, remember, when you're on your business page, you are operating under your business. You are, you're like the ghost writer for that. So it can't be your personal opinion, or it shouldn't be. Make sure that it's something that reflects the values of your, do y'all deal with this a lot?
Well, we had to be careful. Mm-hmm. And that's hard sometimes.
It is. So why is social media important to your business? We went over the number of users earlier, but number of users on popular social media sites, social networking sites, as you can tell, our folder today kind of showed it too, 901 million users on Facebook, and then you can see the others. So if you're looking for a way to get plugged in, this is a good source to use on which one you might start with and where to go from there. Okay, 10 benefits of social media for businesses. How many of you use social media for your business? Okay. So social media is an easy way to learn about your audience, because you just don't want to put just anything out there. You want it to be applicable. Obviously, like we talked about the ROI, it's not so much about your money, but your time you put in. So for businesses in any industry, the key to success is knowing your audience. Social media makes this possible and easier to accomplish than ever. With tools like Facebook Insights, you can learn the dominant languages spoken among your social media audience, as well as their age and gender. This knowledge can help you cater campaigns and product offers to your target audience, which will provide you a better return on investment. You can really pull this on your Facebook, and we'll show Twitter a little bit. So if you want to see, like, out of all the folks following your company, you can kind of see what, what languages, where they're at, male, female, so that way you know what products to talk about, and maybe some that if you want to build, for like at the credit union, if I was wanting to build our female numbers might be really low, so if I wanted to build that up, I might start posting more about like the student accounts or things that we can do, because most time mothers will go with that, instinctive motherly, like, oh, we need to get you saved and we need to, bring you in, just something like that. And make sure you're tailoring it to your audience. Number 2, social media helps target audiences more effectively, and they have geo-targeting, which is an effective way to send your message out to a specific audience or demographic based on their location. Facebook and Twitter have tools that allow you to do this, and you can target by location, language, age, gender, relationship status. I mean, if you were in the wedding industry, and you went by everyone who was engaged and sent out a post, 50% off wedding dresses, or, discounted wedding cakes or something, that would be a great way to go about that. That way you're not sending it out to everyone, but just the people that apply to, because the information we put on there, they have. And they're they're going to use it. And so it's a good way for us, so why don't we use it effectively? Social media helps find new customers and expand your audience. Social networks like Twitter allow small businesses to locate their current customers or seek out potential customers. If you open a new coffee shop in the neighborhood, you can create a geo search to locate anyone tweeting about needing a morning cup of Joe within your area. So if you see that, and then you might be able to post, out those folks and be like, we're located right over here, come around the corner. And it's a great way to make it personalized. Again, if Twitter isn't used as often as Facebook in our area, but not to say that folks aren't on there and using it. 10, to continue our benefits, social media allows you to receive instant feedback from your customer's perspective. So you might post something on there, a survey, something, how do you feel? And you won't, sometimes, you're going to get a lot of responses. So if you want to know how your customers are feeling, let's ask them. Improve market intelligence and get ahead of your competitors with social media. That's a good way to tell people about what you've got going on. I will encourage you not to just push your products all day long or your services. You want to talk about some other things on there as well, whether it be informational or something you saw in the community, just because people don't like you to just push stuff in your face all day long. You got to build that relationship so they know that it's more than just about, hey, buy this, hey, use my service. Social media can help increase website traffic and search ranking. If you have a website, I encourage you, every single time you post something about a product, a service, something you have, put the link to your website in there. Encourage them to go to your website. It's so important. You want to build that traffic to your website. Well, I'm telling you, more people are on social media all day than, no offense, people are going to your websites, but the numbers of people, as we've seen on social media, are so high. You can really build that traffic by posting those links. Have them go there. Put a teaser. Make them go to your website for the rest of the information. Share content easier and faster. Social media, like we said, it can be instant. On Twitter, Facebook, make it an update. Social media helps generate leads for 1/3 of the cost. You're paying for someone's time in your office and make that part of their job. Or sometimes once you reach the number of users you want, or if you feel like you kind of hit your audience in this area, you want to go somewhere else, you can do the ads. But first, really try to use your resources, your skills. Create meaningful relationships with customers through social media. You do that by interacting, by following back, by using the tools available to see who your audience is, how you want to grow that, how you want to communicate with them. And lastly, social media lets you increase brand awareness and reach with little to no budget. And I don't know about you guys, but I handle our marketing budget at the credit union, and it makes me feel real good when I get on and make a post and it doesn't cost me anything. So, just think about that. It's something, it's free, it's easy to use. There's so many tutorials online. If you want more help, if you want to contact me, I gave you all my business card today. If you have questions, let me know, because I'm happy to answer them, or try to find an answer if you have a question about something in regards to social media. A quote I found that I really liked: a brand is no longer what we tell the customer it is what customers tell each other it is. It was by Scott husband said, who's Stock Cook? I was like, I don't know, I can find out. He was a guy that posted this online. But he's a real person. He's out there. He's a customer. And he wrote that, and that really sank in with me, because I can tell people all day long that the Union Square, the experience is more like family. Okay, I'm paid to say that. But if a member of ours goes out and tells someone that they had an experience and they really felt like a member of the family in there, and they knew their name and they were greeted and they were helped, their problem was fixed, they posted on social media and they got a response, that testimonial is worth a lot more than anything that I could put out there. And so remember that what people are saying about us, using social media, what they say is what's important. So we need to be on there to see what they're saying, because we might need to improve, or to see what we're doing well in. And also, it's just a great way to expand your brand and also let folks talk about it. So you might post something and then have 10,000 shares, and so just think how many people you've reached there.
This program has been presented by the Better Business Bureau.